Clock on my computer. It's 8:30. Call this meeting. Call this meeting to order, please. Madam Clerk, can we have roll call?
Ed Peters,
Here.
Mark Kelwig,
Here.
Kay Wilson, Brian Bissonette,
Here.
Jason Weaver, Kevin Sheptick. You have a quorum.
Thank you. Would you please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Item number 4, certification of compliance with open meetings law.
This meeting has been noticed to the public and news media as required by section 19.84 of the Wisconsin statutes.
Thank you. Public comments. I don't see any. Are there any online? Okay. Moving on. Consider approval of minutes from previous meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes from the August 9th, 2023 meeting. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. We have reports from Register of Deeds. Looks like things are moving along quite well there.
See that note about transfer? You want to transfer?
Yes.
10%.
Events. Moving on. Are there any questions, or I don't know who we would ask right now?
We have none, no applications this month.
Okay. Land records. A brief report there. And moving on to the item number 10, Sawyer County Forest Report. Recreational trails. I don't see any. Is there anything to report on that, Greg? I noticed there is something coming up for this evening at Public Works. County Forestry Report.
Okay, for the month of August, we had 13 sales listed as active. Our current timber sale value sold and uncut on file is just over 4.7 million. For the month of August, we had 104,000 in timber sale revenue. Our year to date is just shy of 1.7 million. So we are, with our sale revenue build out right now, we're on target for hitting a revenue for the year. The markets are starting to slow down a little bit with the dry summer we had. Conditions were great. Production was up. The mills are kind of filling up. LP's scheduled to be closing for a 3-week shutdown early this fall. So a lot of our sale activity is likely going to dip a little bit as contractors are going to be struggling for different markets to move the wood. So, but with the start we had for the year, we should be okay for hitting our revenue stream for the year. So it just goes to show there's kind of a tipping point. We get good conditions and then the markets, fill up. So, but things are still looking good for us right now. We did have 8 tracts turned in for review. We're preparing our fall timber sale prospectus bid packet right now. That'll be going out the first or second week of October for early November bid opening. Recon acres are on target for the year. We didn't have any Good Neighbor Authority activity this month. Oak Wilt, we did have, DNR did do an aerial survey for Oak Wilt. I can let Brody talk about that at his point. ATV, UTV trails, we completed 2 of our rehab projects on the Tuscobia. Highway 27 and Highway 40 is completed. That's 4.6 miles of rehab trail and a 2-mile section from Wooddale Road to Wooddale Road. Nothing new to report on parks. Carbon credit project, we did provide additional stand information and GIS data layers to Anu. And Steigerwalt was awarded the bid from Anu to put the permanent inventory plots in. I had a meeting with them on Monday. They did start the work on those plots on Monday. They're scheduled to have those completed by October 20th. So they're putting in 331 permanent inventory plots to do the actual carbon calculation of what we have on the forest. So that project is moving along. So we'll see how that goes. Other than that, I don't have anything else to report.
Okay. Are those plots then marked?
Yep. They have they marked the plot center. They have a piece of rebar. They'll stick up just a little bit. Then they all the trees that are measured in the plot are marked. They're doing with a pink paint. So if you're out in the forest and you see a lot of hot pink paint, that's going to be one of those inventory plots. So
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Brody, DNR forestry report?
Yeah, so in August, at the beginning of August, we had the certification audit that held in, I say, an unofficial OFI for Washburn County because we haven't gotten anything official from the auditors yet, and it indirectly affects every county that is within the county forest system, but it's just an observation for improvement. So it's not too pressing. It was a BMP violation that Washburn County had already had a handle on. So it was all moving in the right direction. That's why it wasn't a corrective action request. Just an opportunity for improvement. So nothing bad should come out of the audit that we had this earlier this August, I guess. And we are sitting good, and we got good praise on a lot of the projects that had been going on, including the Parks Farm Access Road, which was a highlight for the auditors, and it was just a smooth week for them. So it was good. Like Greg alluded to, on August 21st, I had a chance to go up in a DNR plane with the forest health specialist, Paul Segan, inventorying for Oak Wilt. And we flew the Sealy block of the Sawyer County Forest and in a grid fashion, and staring out the window for a few hours was pretty fun. And we did have approximately 20 locations that we have to ground truth. And Paul Segan has been out in the county forest looking at some, and he told me he went to a few locations with no signs of oak wilt, but traversing between locations he's found oak wilt in other spots that we didn't see from the plane. So once I had shared that shapefile of the locations with the county foresters as well. So we'll be working on ground truthing those. So that's about all I have for August.
Okay.
I was curious, excuse me, I was curious what your plan is for the trees that are infected. Is that on county land then, or is it on private land, or both?
So the trees that are on county land, I'll have to talk with Greg about what his management strategy would be. But in the past, it would be girdling and herbiciding the tree itself, and depending on the state the tree's in, potentially the trees within a radius to slow the spread of oak wilt. Paul and I we have gone to some private landowners that have oak wilt on their property, and we recommend the same strategy for them as well.
We're dual certified, so we have 2 audits and single audit.
So there was 2 auditors during the audit. There was an SFI and an FSC auditor, both they were kind of looking for the same, they were on the same line of things. There's just some nuances between FSC's certification wording and SFI's.
Discuss the deer.
Give us update or what's gonna happen.
Right, I can look into a little more detail, but from my knowledge, in Washburn County, there was a confirmed CWD infected deer within a private farm. Although the farm is within 10 miles of Sawyer County's border, that would a positive CWD hit within 10 miles of a neighboring county would also put that county into a no baiting restriction. So we are waiting now to hear what the outcome is with that. I personally had just looked at on the website to see if baiting was still an option, and they have not updated their map yet. They have a map highlighting which counties you can legally bait deer in, but anyhow, I can get in contact with either the conservation wardens and or Josh Spiegel, the wildlife biologist at the DNR, to get some more information on that.
The location, 10 miles there, Russ Kent's.
Correct. So that would affect, I think Barron already had, you couldn't bait, but Washburn and Sawyer you could. So it would be a new impact on the hunters in our area.
Well, I'm sure that will come up at the County Deer Advisory Committee meeting coming up here. So thank you. Any other questions? Moving on to zoning conservation report.
As part of the August to September Conservation Department update, the Assistant Conservationist attended the Regional Nutrient Management Update in Eau Claire this last month. Conservation staff has completed the annual shoreline mitigation checks. Those are needed for specialized projects, and several letters will be sent out to those that are still not in compliance with those specified mitigation aspects. Conservation staff gave a rain garden presentation for the Spider Chain of Lakes Association. Rain gardens are part of some of those specialized mitigation practices for those specialized projects, including impervious surface limitations. Conservation Department is starting to submit orders for the upcoming spring tree sale. So we're picking those tree species that we are, getting the larger batches of, and then we'll have those order forms available online within the next month or so. And as part of conversations with the chair here last month, he was interested and wanted to look into the AIS grant information. So I have Natalie Erler here to kind of give a little bit better update on those 2024 AIS grant options.
Hi everyone, I'm Natalie. Haven't been here in a while, so as far as the 2024 AIS grants, I already submitted the pre-application because it's due Friday it's called the Lake Monitoring and Protection Network, LMPN for short. And basically that's just a grant that already covers all the activities we do. So like clean boats, clean waters, me training those staff, helping all the lake associations out with their lake monitoring, all the aquatic invasive species kind of trainings, etc. So this grant will basically pay for all those trainings, pay for me to go to trainings, a good portion of my salary. And the great thing about this grant is that there's no cost share. So it's basically free money that we just get from the state. Sawyer County actually has the highest allotment, which is pretty nice. Just because we have so many lakes and lake associations, we ranked the highest. So we're getting $22,681.91. And I applied for the full amount. Yeah, I can answer any questions if you want. We were also the only, one of only 4 counties left that hadn't applied for this grant yet. And that was just because we were locked into our old grant and now that's finished. So yeah, all 68 out of the 72 counties in Wisconsin are already a part of this LMPN grant. So I'm happy to say that now we will be on board with that.
Yeah, and I'll just add to that is, to one of the reasons why we wanted to present some of this information as to why we chose the LMPN grant versus some of the other grants that are available and out there is we had some contact with a vendor that makes or distributes cleaning apparatuses, the cleaning stations. And that was a business pitch, and they were trying to ultimately, want the county to, buy their product. And that's great and that's fine, but there wouldn't be a full 100% grant match with that type of purchase. Those other specialized surface water grants that are available from the DNR, the county would still need to allocate, 30 to 25% to purchase those, which was not budgeted for the 2024 cycle. So if the county is wanting to, spend money on those cleaning devices, we would probably want to have a further conversation sometime in the middle of 2024 as to allocate and set aside money for then 2025. With the grant that we, went through with this cycle, it's a larger amount and it's a fully granted amount, but it doesn't allow for those purchases of those cleaning devices.
Certainly.
And this
Yeah.
grant is annual. So we'll get 22,000 for 2024, and then it'll probably be roughly the same amount. So each year. So that's also kind of
Great.
nice that it renews every single year.
Are the
Right.
cleaning devices that you're talking about, are they the pressure washing systems?
Yeah, I
or-
forget the company's name, CP3.
CP3.
Yeah, and it would be one of the boards, and they have several different models of ones you can purchase. Some are just like a hand pump with a bleach water solution, eye goggles, and a scrub brush. And then you can go all the way up to their deluxe model that has a pressure washer pump and the hoses and the whole bells and whistles. They didn't have any pricing on those. I don't think they're probably cheap. You're probably looking at, the lower end model, probably still $20,000 to $30,000. The higher end models may be up to $50,000. And that would still be something that the county would need to allocate at least 25, if not 30% of that purchase to purchase those. I know there are other grants available too for specific lake associations or lake districts. And I know several of those have already been purchased by lake associations. Maybe not that company, but again, some type of cleaning device.
Well, and allocating the location or deciding on the location that's going to be used is not going to provide universal coverage for every lake that has a boat ramp in the county. So could be a lot of equipment that would be needed for that. I know it just was something that came to me and I contacted Jay about that. So thank you. Any other questions? Okay, moving on to 11B, USDA report.
As of August 13th, we have a new CED chairperson. Her name's Amy. We all certified her at our last board meeting we just had last week. Then I'm gonna work this backwards. On November 15th is the final date to report fall plantings, crops such as rye, wheat, etc. Organic certification cost share program, deadline sign up is November 1st. This offers cost sharing for certification for organic producers to help offset some of their required cost. Then as of August 1st, Sawyer County reached a D2 status for drought, a severe drought for 8 consecutive weeks, according to USDA drought monitor. As of Thursday, I want to say it got bumped up to D3 now. That includes a higher payment for different things and stuff like that. And then this goes back for the DMC program. They just paid July's milk prices. If it was just at the $100 level, you got $3.52, and if you were at the $9.50 coverage, you got $5.98 per 100. But this is for the month of July. There should be payments coming out for August and September. It looks like right now too. And then that new CD person, Amy, she would like to come to our committee here next month if her schedule allows it, to introduce herself and stuff like that. So that's all I have.
The only thing I noticed on her report was that she didn't want to meet at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
So, well, we can give her a half an hour at least. So,
Well, she'd be driving up.
oh, Claire, yeah, I understand. Thank you. Any other questions for Kevin? LCO report. Right?
Good morning. I really don't have anything to report for the month. We that would be of interest to the general public. We've been pretty much doing a lot of our maintenance activities. Within the next 2 or 3 weeks, we will be starting to close down the hatchery and our stocking program for the year. So typically we do that in the first week or so of October is when the lakes get stocked. So other than that, it's just been carrying on maintenance activities, etc. So.
Yay, thank you. And then the hatchery will reopen or start a new cycle coming up in the spring?
Yeah, looks like it's really, what is that?
Brian, we can't hear you.
I can't hear you.
Then the hatchery will resume production next spring?
Yep. Yeah, next committee meeting, I'll be able to report how many we actually stocked and released. So, yeah, we typically, it's always weather dependent, but typically late April, we start our new operations. So.
Okay,
early May.
thank you.
Mhm.
Seeing no other reports, future agenda items? Do you have anything? Is there some, I received a mailing and I contacted Greg about it with regard to a writing contest. Is that something that is handled by for high school students, student writing contest? It came across, it was, I remembered the title for this year is Let the Forest Be With You. So that's why I contacted Greg on that one, but.
Yeah, so that's actually our department, the annual poster and speaking contest. Yeah, the theme this year is let the forest be with you or something. Yeah, we're starting to send out those packets to all the schools so that we can get that kind of going. That usually kind of takes place in January.
Yes.
So, yep.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Correspondence?
Mr. Chair,
I'm sorry,
just on
yes.
future agenda items, I think next month we'll have a conversation about tax deed lands and excess county land. We're having a discussion with LCO coming up about some tax deed lands within the reservation boundaries. We've held the current sale. There was a sale approved of tax deed lands, and we've held off on that because with the state, the federal court decision, we don't want to sell any of the lands within the reservation that might actually be given back to tribal owners. But with that, we've also had the tax listing and treasurer pull together a list of all county property that we own. That might be old tax deed that's been sitting out there. So we're going through that list, and we'll have an update on that next month. And then the other thing I was going to mention for future agenda, like it's been a few months, more than a few months since since Dan Ploger retired. As you're aware, we didn't really replace him. We just assigned the duties to the people in there. I'm not gonna, don't tell them I said this. I know they don't do the most exciting things in there. So the surveyor's been giving you an update, but if you have specific things you want to know about what they're doing and have them report to the committee, just let me know and we can. I can assure you that I've been working with them. They're doing a great job, but it's just not always things that are really reportable to the committee.
Certainly.
So if you have specific things, I can let them know that.
Okay. Anything else? Hearing none, we are adjourned.
Very well.